Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. This is Season 8, Episode 6, and honestly, I don't actually have that much to talk about tonight. And I say that in an odd way because I felt like I've been really, really busy over the last few days, but apparently I actually haven't done a lot and there's not actually been much going on. So I will fill with the time with a little bit of chit chat for you. But please do feel free to ask questions, anything you want to know about the shows or my aunts or anything in general. Just give me a message. Yeah, the microphone's working. I actually decided to check out the technology before we started tonight, mainly because I'm trying to get more on it, I kind of let myself go over the last month or so with the illness and everything. It's been a bit, nightmarish. So I'm just sort of getting my head clear, getting back in the game, and sort of getting on track. In which I'll talk a little bit about that later on, as we know. So I'm really, really close to 1,000 subscribers now. So please do hit that like button, share the stream if you want, all of that jazz stuff. Hit the sub button if you haven't already, because we're super close to getting to 1,000. When I get to that 1,000, we're going to start doing a few things. We're going to have our big giveaway for 1,000 subscribers. That's an obvious. We're going to do that live here on one of the streams, so make sure you do not miss that. It'll be great fun. But the other thing that we're going to do, and I keep going over this because I want everyone to know about it, is we're going to be starting to put codes to vouchers in old videos. So if you're watching old videos, you have the chance of seeing why these codes flash up on the screen that will only last for 3 seconds. Write down that code, quickly run over to the store or on your website, email, internet, go over to the store on the internet on your phone. You're right, JB. Go over to the store on your phone or on the internet, whatever. Quickly use that code. If you are the first one to see it and try using it, it's yours. It only has one use. So after that initial use, it won't be valid anymore, and we will remove it, but obviously there'll be a little bit of a gap. So you need to be first. But we are going to be starting to do that. They're going to be decent vouchers as well for like £25, £50, £100 vouchers are going to be in old videos. So you're going to have to watch the old videos again. There is over 600 videos on our channel now. A lot of them are shorts, so they're only like 15 seconds long. So you're just going to have to bear with it and endure a few hours and hours and hours of watching. I mean, they could be in some of the streams, and some of the streams we've done are like 5 hours long. So if you really got to commit to some of these, but it's going to be great fun, and it's going to help my viewing time massively as well. So don't stinge on it. I appreciate all the support, all the views, and all the likes. I really do. I never honestly thought I was going to get to even like 100 subscribers, let alone 1,000. I never meant to really be a YouTuber. So it all kind of, it's just been amazing, the trip that we've gone on, and the what's the word? The opportunities that it's given me. You know what I mean? I never would have been able to put on the shows if it wasn't for the YouTube going well. We just wouldn't have been in a position to do it. We never would have been able to open the shop or any of that. It's absolutely awesome the way it's all gone. So I do appreciate the support. We have got Patreon supporters that I'm going to be mentioning at the end of the stream. The Patreon supporters at the minute are absolutely amazing. So I want to give them a really cool shout out at the end of the stream. If you're interested in Patreon, please do pop on over. There's a few different options, and they start off fairly cheap, but it's a great way of supporting us and what we're doing. Anyways, let's talk about what you're seeing on screen at the minute. They're eating a pork chop. I told you I was going to do it in the last stream. I waited until late that evening, and then I chucked in this pork chop. So it's been in there a couple of days, and normally after a couple of days, I would remove food. I don't feel I could safely get this pork chop away from that many ants. There's a lot of ants on it, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem to be like going rotten or anything. I'm keeping my eyes on it. And the minute it looks like it's going grim, I will try and remove it. I'll have to. But until that point, I'm just going to have to bear with it. I mean, the springtails are good evening, antisocial. Thanks for popping in. Where's the applesauce? I know. But, so they come in packs of 6. There's only 5 people in my family. So we had a spare pork chop. And honestly, they do eat so many roaches now like roaches, pinkies, and all of that. Pinkies are quite expensive. You get far more meat on a pork chop than if you put in like 4 or 5 pinkies, and it works out cheaper. So to me, this is quite a viable option, especially if there's not much wastage. I'm hoping that they're going to eat a fair portion of it, and they have already. They've actually strangely gone for the fatty areas first. I thought they'd avoid the fatty areas and go for the nice meat, but they've tunneled into the fat and around the fat, and they have taken large chunks of the fat off and back to the nest, as well as going for the meat section, which, it's just interesting how they are attracted to those different parts. Clearly they need the different parts. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Everyone's going to be like, oh, I'm so hungry now, I want a pork chop. Yeah, that's it. Pinkies are so expensive. You pop into like Pets at Home and they're like, what, you get 2 pinkies or something for $5? Now you can go get a packet of pork chops for that. It just works out economical. Like I say, if they don't have much wastage, I mean, if you've got 20 or 40 colonies like I have, a pork chop, I might chop it in half in the future, give them half, and then chop the other half between my other colonies. I don't know. It works out quite well, and they clearly eat it well. I wasn't sure if they were going to eat it. Obviously, in the wild, they'll eat pretty much any kind of dead animal or whatever. So I assumed that fresh meat is going to be fine. Obviously, there's no sauces, no seasoning, no nothing like that on this meat. It is just meat. And that is clearly the way to go. Anything else is a bit too, I don't know, I wouldn't want to risk it. Although they would probably eat it off your picnic. In the wild, they generally eat like decaying animals and stuff like that. So it is going well. It has been interesting. There's a lot of ants on it. There's just so many. And the funny thing is, the tank hasn't like diminished with the amount of ants, if you know what I mean. There's so many ants in all the other areas of the tank. It hasn't affected it at all. Like, it's not like all the workers are there. That's just like a small number, and they're still everywhere else. And it's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, a huge part of, oh, nice. So I am keeping up with the chat. I am reading it as I'm talking. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the beetles. They're Darkland beetles. They come from the Mario worms, the really big version of mealworms, basically. They are the grown-up version. And as you can see from over in the corner, they like to produce more. They are quite hardy, and they do quite well in this enclosure. But they are rather cheeky as well. They will... Ants love Vindaloo. Okay, well, there we go. They do go straight up to the food. Even though the ants will be biting at them and whatnot, they will get in there and take a few bites of the food, even though they do get fed separately as well. I chuck so much food in here, they do get chances to take whole waxworms sometimes, So they're just really cheeky. As you can see, the ants sort of do bully them a little bit, but they can take it. It doesn't really hurt them. It just kind of says, leave us alone. That one's catching a piggyback, ran over there and jumped on, was like, yeah, all right. But yeah, it is interesting. And it's sort of, if there's loads of food, and before it kind of gets hectic like this, there's so many ants there now you won't get close. But when there's a lot less, they will eat side by side really happily. I am just going to read that. Fat is always more protein than lean meat. Almost all the animals will eat fat first. That's actually very true and very interesting. I hadn't even considered that. I just thought they'd kind of avoid the fatty bits because there's easier meat to eat. But yeah, that does make sense. And that's why we like eating the fat. So I am sorry to any vegans that are going to sign in and watch this in the future. But yeah, they're going to be having pork chops occasionally from now on, and possibly even more interesting meats as time goes on. I'm not going to push the boundaries too far. I'm not crazy, and I don't want to risk my awesome colony. But yeah, like I say, it's feeding them. It's keeping them busy. And the thing about this colony is if they haven't got food, they escape, no matter how much barrier I use. And good evening. And like they go straight out the the tank from the wire from the pump that I've never bothered to actually cover up or do anything about. They can literally just leave whenever they want via this wire out of the pond, and they hang out on this wire like that's their favorite spot to just chill. So they do escape, and when there's no food, they know where to go looking for food because they are right near the kitchen, and that next room over is the kitchen. So they have started making their way around the kitchen. And during nuptial flights, because we've had several nuptial flights happen within the tank now, we found them upstairs as well. Literally, the whole house was full of Polybacchus dive queens wandering about. We probably caught about 70 of them. It's been absolutely insane. Mainly in this room, I will say, but there has been some in my daughter's room, which she wasn't happy about because she doesn't particularly like bugs. Which actually, going on to a really funny story, she came in today. Was it today? It must have been today, or it might have been last night. Right, but she came in, and I just looked at her and I was like, "What's that?" And there was something in her hair. She came over to me. It was a caterpillar. She had a baby caterpillar in her hair. I took it off and showed her, and she freaked. She did not like it. She was like, but you're in a room full of bugs. She said, I know. I don't like it. She does really, but she'd rather not like hold them or let them be out. You know, no one apart from Amy will be in the room with me when I get the tarantulas out, which is about what I'd expect, to be honest. The wife doesn't particularly like things like that. She's getting better with the other animals, especially a lot better with the ants. But, yeah, she's not so good with the tarantulas and centipede and things like that. In fact, I don't let anyone near the centipede when I'm dealing with that. Not even Amy. And Amy's like she's my little zookeeper, isn't she? She's when the business needs to be taken over, basically you've got Kayla is going to be running sort of my admin sides that I do, all the setting up of shows and things like that. And then Amy is going to be running my ant side and looking after all the pets. So that's sort of how I'm going to work it. Excuse me. See, Paul, I was considering that I will need to move the male at some point, as soon as I get an enclosure suitable for him. Obviously, if I had, in hindsight, I would have kept Pokey in another enclosure and used that big one for the male. But it's too late now. The Pokey is in that large enclosure, and there's no way I'm getting in that large enclosure to find it. And I don't think you'd want to either, because it's guaranteed to be hiding either behind that log or in the log or nowhere near the log, and it will jump out and it'll get you, and it'll get you good, and that'll be that. You'll be got. It probably won't do much to me because of my health. It would probably do me in, but you'd probably be fine. But yeah, it's just one of them. The Pokey will eat you. That's it. Pokies will eat you. They're quite aggressive, you know. Kayla will be the business manager. Amy, the keeper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know it's Cat. Hello, Cat. You well? Good. It's nice to see you here, Kat, as well. Yeah, I think that would make a good arrangement, and that's the sort of way they want to do it as well. It's how I'm training them. I'm teaching Kayla to like talk like me and act like me. She's not allowed to do anything unless it's perfectly like what I would do. But we're gonna get there. It'll be fine. And Amy knows what she's doing, anyways. Both Right, so what else have I got down to talk about? I've got a couple of things to talk about. But, right, so we have been gifted this amazing version of our duck game. How many people is going to send the signal awful, by the way, because my signal is terrible at the minute. Absolutely terrible. Here we go. Right. Our new duck race. How many people? We got 12 people in the chat right now. Oh, hello, Dino. Thank you for popping in. We got 12 people in the chat. So we'll put 14 runners in, and we'll go for 30 seconds. We'll just do a quick one just to see how it is. Yeah. There's 13 people in the chat right now. So if you haven't watched this before, all you got to do is put in your number. If the number's already been called out, choose another number. We're not playing for a prize right now. It's just for fun. So please do just join in. I will give it another few seconds and then we will get going. Remember your number. Good luck to everyone. It's going to be just a quick 30-second race. 30 seconds. Super quick, super quick. I really do like this. And I love the fact it's got the ant corner and everything on it. That's awesome. It's like, yes. So, can you see? Yeah, cool. Right, here we go. Good luck, everybody. Good evening, Adam. Here we go. Hang on. They're going to bolt forwards again. Here we go. Here we go. They all died. Number 4 was the winner. I haven't actually watched one to the end yet. I was quite interested. They all died. I like that. I like that. Right, I'm always at risk of butchering names, so I'm gonna thank this person for creating it for us because it's absolutely spectacular. I couldn't do anything like this, but they've been absolutely awesome and done it for us. So, Ant Farm Supplies. So I'm not gonna butcher names because no matter how I try, I will get it wrong. I'm sure. So I've just popped that up, and that's easier for me. But really does like it's awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's our new go-to thing. So let's close that one up now. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. I didn't even catch who actually won, but well done whoever won. Oh, it's pronounced Lee. Is it? There we go. Thank you. See, if I had pronounced it, I would have pronounced it differently to that. But yeah, thank you for that. You know, makes my life a bit easier. I don't want to say someone's name and offend them or whatever. Excuse me. So I have still got a little bit of a cough, but I'm really doing better than I was. That's the main thing. Right, does anyone have any questions or comments or anything they want to know about the shows or my ants or how I care for my ants in my massive collection? I've currently got about, I think there's 40 on these shelves next to me at the moment, or around about 40. And we've got all the big tanks and all the test tubes. We've got all the mantis, tarantulas and scorpions and millipedes and leeches and centipedes and just about everything else that you can get hold of. We are getting. Oh, we've got assassin bugs. Oh, tarantulas on the move. Where's he going? I do love watching him move because he's so big. You can see him really well. It's just like, oh, he's so cool. He's so cool. So if you haven't got a tarantula, right, apparently people don't really have like, because males don't live very long, it's really easy to get hold of a giant male tarantula. They're a lot cheaper than buying a female. So I would recommend getting a big old male tarantula. They don't live very long, but they're great fun, and it gives you that sort of confidence boost. Once he's gone, you know, I'll be able to confidently go into something a little bit different. You know, I'm looking to get a terrestrial tarantula next. In fact, I'm probably going to be waiting till the Weymouth show and getting one from Dave's Little Beasties himself. because he's going to be there at the Weymouth show selling. So it would be sort of rude not to get one from him, you know what I mean? So I expect I'm going to get a terrestrial tarantula next. I'm not really sure what. I do also want some communal Balfouri tarantulas, which are absolutely awesome. If you don't know tarantulas, they're one of the few species of tarantulas that can live communally, although they haven't been witnessed to live communally in the wild anywhere ever, or it's not been documented anyways. But in captivity, they are quite used to living communally, and which is really interesting. And sort of like, you know, the spiders in The Hobbit. That's what it reminds me of. Is The Hobbit? Yeah, it's The Hobbit. That's what it makes me think of. So, yeah, you know what I mean. That's sort of. I'd love to get some Balfouries, but I'm looking at a big old terrestrial next time, because all I've got at the moment are boreal tarantulas, which is great fun. You know, I like seeing them climbing about and whatnot. But yeah, see, Mexican red knee, I do like things like that, but I don't know what I want. There's a lot out there. You know what I mean? There's a very great variety of tarantulas. Now, a lot of them I'm still not comfortable to deal with. Obviously, I have got a pokey. But I mean, like on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't be comfortable dealing with some of the tarantulas or their care at this point, because I'm not that great a keeper at tarantulas. I don't know everything there is to know, or not. You know what I mean? There's a lot I'd still need to learn about keeping tarantulas before keeping some of them. So I don't know. Lots more research into what I want. Let's have a little look at these messages. Send you pics of the OBT. Yes, right. So one of my moderators of my the Ants on a Rock community group on Facebook is actually a tarantula keeper over in the States, and she is amazing with her knowledge of tarantulas. She has so many different species, it's crazy, and she showed me quite a few things like that. And yeah, parents wanted me to spell my name every time I say it and give me the girl's version. That's brilliant. Tom, I may have a conservation vendor for Taunton working on it. Right, tell me, send me a message about that cat, obviously. Yeah, send me a message. What is the date for the Weymouth event? The Weymouth event is the 13th of May at the Weymouth College Sports Hall. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Thank you for putting that in, Kat. It's not just strictly an invert show. In fact, it's more the everything that I enjoy show. If I'm completely honest, I've gone full narcissist with this. I don't mind saying it is just everything I enjoy. But you know what I mean? Like, it's everything I'm passionate about. So it's got the inverts. We have got obviously ants and spiders and tarantulas, and lots of inverts and bugs are going to be there. But we've also got the local museums. We've got lectures about the local area and some of the culture and things like that, which is happening as well. Yeah, it is. It is. That bug's really struggling to get up. He'll get up in a minute, or he'll get eaten. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, it is sort of like you say, accumulation of just everything that I really enjoy and wanted to show off about the local area. But we've gone with the inverts as well, because like that's sort of my bread and butter. That's what I know, and without the backing of the invert community and those vendors, I wouldn't have been able to fill the show. Or I probably could have filled the show, but it would just be like every other show around here. I really wanted to like give them my show, if you know what I mean. But I wanted to show off to the people coming from far away what we've got here, but I wanted to show the people here what I do far away, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. It's like I say, it's going to be a great event and it's going to be different. So yeah, another great day out. we're going to have ice cream there, like ice cream trucks go pull up, and there's face painters and entertainers and all the normal stuff, and a few other bits and bobs that I've planned as well. The Bristol show's absolutely amazing. Obviously, the Bristol show is probably going to be our biggest show this year. Not vendor wise, we've actually got slightly less vendors than the Sheffield show had, but the quality of vendors is really good. The quality of demonstrations and lectures that we've got is really good, and we've got more demonstrations and lectures than we had at Sheffield. Like, we've absolutely packed it in into Bristol. In fact, I couldn't actually squeeze another demonstration in, even if I tried, because there's just too much going to be going on around the room. I will start putting more about into the schedule online at some point. I need to finalize a few details like timings and stuff when people are doing their demonstrations, but it's all coming together. We've got absolutely loads going to be jam-packed in there. Some of the things that are coming from the Weymouth event are going to be coming to the Exeter, not the Bristol event. So that's super exciting. Like I say, the new things that we're going to be putting on, not the weird cultural things, but the new inverty things that we're going to be putting on in Weymouth are going to be following us to Bristol, as well as the new things that are going to be happening at Bristol. And it's absolutely spectacular. And I really do advise, if you can't make it to Weymouth, do make it to the Bristol show, because it's going to be amazing. In fact, we've got so many vendors wanting to come to the Bristol show, I actually can't host them all. I've had to turn quite a few away, which I don't mind doing because I've got a really good selection. I haven't sort of overdone any one thing. We've got more ant shops than we've ever had, which is super exciting for us. I think we're up to 5 ant shops at the moment. We're not having Morris dancing, thank God. What was I saying? All I can think about is Morris dancing now. Oh God. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've got more ant shops than I think we've ever had. Well, definitely more ant shops than we've ever had, which is super exciting. But we've got a really great balanced show as well. You can get just about everything but not be overwhelmed. And I really like some of the bigger ones. Now I'm going to reiterate this point. I say the bigger vendors are going to be towards the back. And that is mainly for the point, not the ant ones are going to be right by the door. But that's mainly for the point that bigger vendors come with their own sort of following. They will advertise and their customers will follow them to the back because that's what they come to see. Whereas the smaller shops don't necessarily have that big following. So I like to put them front and centre. So everyone that's walking to the back has to walk past and see what they've got as well. I think that's a really fair way of doing it, So we've got a few bigger vendors, but they are all happy to be towards the back. I've spoken about them, about the situation, and they're more than happy with that. It's actually turned out really good, and I think it's going to be a great atmosphere as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Bristol show. There's a bit of logistics which are still to be done for it, like I said, but that's mainly for the fact that I went in the hospital. It's going to be amazing. There's obviously going to be, there's a Weymouth raffle. There's going to be all sorts of local things. There's invert prizes. Some really interesting prizes have actually been donated to the Weymouth raffle. You can buy tickets for that now. Soon as the Weymouth event is over, we will release the raffle tickets for the Bristol event, because that will be coming up fast on its heels. And we've already had prizes donated for the Bristol event as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm expecting the Bristol raffle is going to be bigger than the Sheffield raffle, but I don't know. I might limit how many prizes we do, because 25 last time took up like a long time, and I was sweating. I was literally dripping with sweat. It was like the most pressure I've ever had in my life, standing there with everyone watching me, hoping to win something. And I just, oh my God. So we probably go for the same amount of prizes, but they're going to be bigger prizes, I think. Some of the prizes that are coming in already are absolutely fantastic. And if I say add a little bit like the goodie bags on top of them or something like that, we'll work it out closer to the time, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So do make sure you're grabbing your raffle tickets. We're going to do raffles at every show. It just helps fund things, helps us generate more money to give away to the charities as well, which makes a massive difference for us. Obviously, with all of my events, I don't make a penny out of it. Any money made on the event gets split in half. Same with the raffle. Half of the money goes straight back into the show account just to make sure that I can still put on the next show. And then the other half of the money goes straight to a local charity or conservation or research project, which we're super proud of helping as well. So it does make a difference if you can't come to the show, or if you can come to the show, get a raffle ticket, because it just, like I say, it's that little bit extra that we can give away to an awesome cause, and it does help us massively. I wouldn't I wouldn't be able to keep doing this forever. Well, I probably would, but my staff are there you go. Thank you, Ant Farm Supplies. You're absolutely fantastic. I will obviously speak to you about that privately. If my staff would go nuts at me if I carried on pumping my own money into the show time and time again, because I do tend to do that. I mean, the Sheffield show, I pumped a lot of my own money into it, which is not a problem. It's not about the money. It's about putting on an awesome day. But at some point, it would be really nice if the show account had enough money in that I didn't have to put any of my own money in. It would just pay for itself and then do it again. That'd be nice. One day we'll get there, I'm sure, as the show grows and things progress. I mean, it's getting bigger and better, and I've become more sensible with some of the decisions that I've made, and as well, I've coordinated better with my staff this time. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of shows. I've said this a couple of times lately, it's going to give us a real chance to sort of iron out those last few not issues, but you know what I mean, we know what we're doing. All my staff I've spoken to pretty much separately at some point, and they all know what I'm expecting on the day, what they're going to be doing, where they're going to be, which is, you know, much better coordinating on my behalf, but it just makes the whole day run a bit smoother. Because although I was doing this a bit beforehand, I wasn't really delegating. I sort of did a lot of it myself, and then I expected everyone to know what I needed them to do without me telling them. So that was sort of my issue. But now I think my staff, I hope they agree with me, feel like they know what we're going to be doing on the day, and we can run in and just go boom, boom, boom. It's ready, and we're all having fun and a great time. Because it did by about half an hour after we opened the show, everything started to calm down, and it was completely fine. Everyone knew what they were doing, and it was good. But until we sort of found that rhythm, you know, and now we've got that rhythm, it will give us a great sort of, like I say, we've ironed out and talked about what we need to do and things like that. And yeah, it's a whole pork chop, Ant Farm Supplies, a whole pork chop. They've been eating it a couple of days. They're hungry and they eat loads, and it's actually cheaper than buying like pinkies or anything like that. So it's working so far. But yeah, so the Bristol show is going to be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And not just that, I think at the Bristol show, we're going to have the most staff in one room, like my staff in one room ever, I think, because we're going to have pretty much all of my staff. Like I've got obviously the staff that helped me at Sheffield. All of you are fantastic. I've got slightly different staff that help me closer. Obviously, I do a lot of things locally. Paul and Adam are really helpful. They drive me about quite a lot. I do call on them quite a lot, but I actually use quite a few people locally for other jobs, like helping with events and things that I am doing locally. So you'll get to meet a few more of my more local staff. And then at the Bristol event, I'm going to use both of them because it's grown to the point where I need that many staff, that I'm going to have to use both sets of staff, and it's going to be really interesting. Now, Kat and Sharon and a few others, but not Dean, are coming down for the Weymouth event as well. So it's sort of a mix that time, and you'll get to meet a lot of the staff there, Kat. But I think even some of the staff aren't going to be working at the Weymouth event, they're going to be at the Bristol event. There's literally going to be packed with my staff, which is really exciting for me because I don't think I've never had them all in the same room. I've never even had a meeting with all of my staff at exactly the same time because we've got different sets and completely different roles. There's never been a moment where I've needed to mix them. Now they're going to be like multi-purpose, and they're going to have to, if you could see what my hands are doing, they're sort of like, I don't know, but they're going to have to intermingle, and it'll be really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. They're going to get on really well because obviously I tend to get on with the same types of people. We're all really friendly, you know, we're all just into the same sorts of things. So I tend to think, yeah, you're going to get on quite well. The Ant Bus was awesome, wasn't it? We're going to be doing an Ant Bus again next year, definitely. And I hope we're going to have Adam driving and Paul backseat drive. Do you call it backseat driving when they're sat next to you, or side seat? I don't. In the passenger seat, we're just going to say Paul in a passenger seat, and we're going to do the Ant Bus again, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. Yes, right. So the Ant Bus tour, there has been talks of a tour bus which goes round to different anti-locations, but there isn't that many anti-locations in the UK. There is talks amongst me and a few of my other staff, my research and development team, you could call it, or some might say the wife. But yeah, me and the wife, obviously she helps me come up with a lot of my ideas, helps me iron out some of the stupid ideas that I come up with and refine them into something usable. So she is absolutely fantastic. I give her credit for a lot of things, or I should give her credit for more, to be honest. But yeah, so there has been talk of a tour bus around the UK, but that is well in the future because obviously money, and we are hoping to open our set of locations next year, or our first location, etc., which I'm not going to tell you too much about until it happens because you're going to have to wait, because yet again it's just money, and it all costs. But we're getting there, you know, we're going to get there. It's going to be fantastic. She does need a medal. My wife is absolutely fantastic. Right, so I've got a bad temper. She's got a bad temper, but we sort of, it's like I explained it to the kid the other day, my eldest. I said, when she's grumpy, I'm normally in a good mood. When I'm grumpy, she's normally in a good mood. And when we're both grumpy, run. That's pretty much what I said. Which is fine, yeah. Like, we balance each other out really well, but she is fantastic. So I do owe a lot of the work to her. She works really hard for me as well. When I've got, like, so if you buy packages for, like, if you buy ants or anything from me, it's been through both my hands and the wife's. Generally, not always, but generally I will get the stock out and say that's that, make sure it's all in the box, double check. And then the wife comes along and bubble wraps it all and packages it, because I just trust her to do it so much better than myself. I sort of make a mess of it, and I'm there trying to wrap it in tape, and she's like, no, just do this, just fold it neatly. Like, you know, she can fold clothes much better than I can. So those skills sort of transferred over to folding bubble wrap. So you can, most, like I say, not all parcels have been picked out by me and packaged by her, and then we sort of had to work together to seal them up with lots of sellotape and whatnot, because sometimes that's quite hard, especially if the box is big. So there you go. She does work hard, and obviously she does lots of other little bits. She has I do call her my research and development team, actually, because some of the things that I've got her researching for me, I don't have time, because obviously I do quite a few different projects. I did the chat show, YouTube, the local school events. We go round to other places doing educational talks. We do the big shows. I do lots of other jobs locally that I won't go into, and other things and other committees that I'm part of, and other YouTube. I do a lot, right? So I don't always have time to do everything I want to do. So quite often I'll just pass the wife a list. I'm like, I need you to research this, this, and this, and find out this key information. And she'll do it for me, and it's really helpful, because I normally go back over most of it, to be honest. But it is helpful to have her go, actually, no, this needs to be like that, or whatever, sort of looking over my shoulder for my mistakes, which I do make a lot of mistakes. All of you who know me know that I always admit to my mistakes as well. I'm quite happy to admit to most of them. We won't say all, because I don't want to shoot myself in the foot without them. Most of my mistakes, very rarely I make a mistake, actually. Don't think I've ever made a mistake. Right, no, in all seriousness, I don't mind admitting I do make mistakes. But she's there to normally say, do it like this, or let's try this next time. She's very helpful to bounce ideas off. But anyways, if you know me, you know from the website how bad I make mistakes. I just go straight past it like it's nothing, because I'm just too easygoing, apparently. Like, I'm just too easygoing. I spell something wrong, I'm like, they can still understand it, be all right. And then one of my staff or close friends will come along and be like, you know that spelt wrong. Like, yes, okay, I'll go back, I'll change it, I'm sorry. Will your head fit back out the door? My head is not that big. Well, sometimes. But I'm not that bad now. I had much bigger ego issues when I was like young teen. I had like God mode. But to be fair, I was pretty much God mode. And that's probably why I'm not dead, because they just couldn't kill me. How big is the dive nest now? Does it fill the tank? That's a very good question, Baz. It doesn't quite fill the tank. Right, this is going to be really dangerous. Right, I'm going to grab the camera. The camera is currently inside of this tank. So I'm going to get it out. Giggity. I'm going to get the camera out. It's going to be quite difficult, so just bear with me. You're not going to be able to see, because my hand's going to have to cover it for a second. Then I'm going to show you the dive nest, and then I'll give you a quick look about at the bridge, and then we'll put it back in. So just bear with me whilst I do that. Turn the light off. There. Oh, there's a knife. Whoa, careful. Right, so that's the size of the nest at the minute. It does go all the way over there. So we've still got a little bit of tank left. Not a lot. But it's very busy, especially in that top left-hand corner, I think it is to you. Very busy over there. In fact, they are building right now. Whoa. Now I am going to have to get out of that tank, because they're trying to bite me. try and get it to focus on the branch and not the wallpaper. No, it likes to focus on the wallpaper. There's quite a few ants using the branch all the time. Obviously, I can't read any of your comments at a minute, so I will get to them in a second. Right, I'm going to try and put this back. This is the hard part. Ow. I'm alright. Right, cool. Right, hold on. We're in completely the wrong position. Oh. So now we've got to get the thing to grip it. And it's really hard because they're trying to bite me. And the light's turned on again. Ow, he's trying to bite me. Why is the light still on? Yeah. Well, apparently the light is stuck on. Haha. Problem solved. Problem is solved. That's good. Try and get back to the same angle it was at. That would do. That will do, Pig. That will do. Right, I'm just going to catch up and read these messages a second. Hold on. Oh, good night, Mantis Garden, if you're still here, but good night if you're not. Good night. Yes, I was singing a little bit. I don't care if I sing on stream. I've clearly gone past caring. Yes, the wallpaper. To be honest, I don't mind the wallpaper. It's sort of, I don't mind. We are decorating soon. The missus has already got it planned. But it's going to be a lot of effort because I'm going to have to move everything out of here. You can't paint in the same room as you've got ants. And that includes moving the big tanks. I'm dreading it. Absolutely dreading it. How about a tank filled with those wicker ball things loaded with aspirin? What for? Hang on. What are we talking about? I'm just going to say I absolutely hate those wicker ball things, especially for pollies. Any weaver ants, no, don't give them a wicker ball. It's absolute rubbish. Give them something a lot smaller than a wicker ball. Like when I first started mine, we gave them the jug and the driftwood, which was behind it, and they lived in that jug for a very long time, and then they stretched into the driftwood and they grew from a very, very small weaved up area to this massive nest that you see today. And the jug is still there in the bottom, stuck. I'd never be able to move it again. But you know what I mean? And these wicker balls are just far too big. You won't put a small ant colony in a large nest. So why would you put a founding weaver ant colony in a large wicker ball? It just doesn't make sense. Give them like what I've done, bamboo sticks or something like that, and like make it so the sticks are crossing over each other. Like, what's that game? Kaplunk. You know what I mean? If you can make like a miniature sort of Kaplunk inside your tank, then they are going to absolutely love that. They will weave it into the nest that they want to create, the shape that they want to create. As you can see, they haven't actually made a very deep nest. It is deep in places, and that's probably where it's heated the most. But you see that it's not, like, the deeper that nest is, the more they've got to heat it. So what I've actually seen with Polyrhacus dives in particular, obviously I know dives the best, but quite a lot of weaver species is their nests aren't that thick. They're like almost layers between the leaves. You know, you've got 2 or 3 layers of honeycomb on top of each other, and it moves on to the next section, which is probably about the same, but it doesn't actually get very deep. So giving them that large wicker ball, I just think is so counterproductive for it. I mean, I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong, but my experience of weaver ants and Polyrhacus dives in particular is just give them a much smaller space than those wicker balls tend to be. You might be able to get a really small one, I don't know, but even then it still dictates the shape to what they need to build their nest. And like I said, I'm all for the natural sort of way of doing things. Just chuck a load of sticks in there, make sure they're crisscrossed a bit, and let them find a space that they like. You know, I mean, who's to say that you're going to put that wicker ball in the most suitable location for them? They might find that it's more humid in a certain area, or so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So just sort of let them do their thing. You know what I mean? That's always been my motto: is as natural as possible, especially in this nest. In all 3 tanks, no, in the 2 bottom tanks, we're not going to count the top one, there's only like 5, 6, 7, there's less than 10 artificial objects in both of the tanks, and that's including in the pond sections. All the food feeders are included in that. You know, it is all natural, and it's just how they would live out there in the wild. Although I have chucked a few extra species in that they wouldn't necessarily encounter, they might. Right. So I went off a bit about the wicker balls. It does my head in that, like, one of the go-to things for buying a weaver ant setup is it will come with a wicker ball, and it just, you know, it goes against what I know. Like I said, I might be wrong, and I'm more than happy to admit if someone wants to prove me wrong. But from my experience, it just helps them start a lot smaller and just let them find their own suitable location. I mean, that's what I like to go for anyways. But whatever, shoot me if I'm wrong, or don't shoot me, just tell me I'm wrong and say, proved you wrong. Yeah, don't shoot me. How about that? Cool. To be honest, I haven't watched Ants Canada in such a long time. Probably since he done that 8 colony video where he put the 8 colonies against each other, or let them found together and they killed each other. I actually haven't watched any of his videos for a very long time. Oh dear, well, I need to stop ranting. I am drinking Monster again. I didn't buy it myself. I was given a can of Monster. I haven't had Monster for a good few weeks now, so it's like, it hasn't hit me like a caffeine rush. Don't be silly, this is me normal. You should see me when I get excited. In fact, I say this to my staff all the time. This isn't me stressing, and like when I'm working at the shows, that's not me stressing. You should see me when I'm stressing. This is just how I work. I work at a kind of fast, hectic pace. The stupid voice he does. Yeah, it's yeah. Listen, I can't, like. There's a few things I'm going to disagree with Ants Canada, and I've just moved away from his content. You know, I do still enjoy what he brings to the hobby, but it's not my cup of tea anymore. Bugbear was the Beatles, can't bear it, changed to his personal channel instead. You check out his daily vlog now, it's much more him. Excuse me, coughing. Haha, coughing. So here's something nerdy to talk about coughing. Obviously, Coffin is a name of a Pokemon. In Japan, currently, they've just released a new type of Pokemon card. Now, I'm not a massive Pokemon card fan, but my daughter is, so it kind of took interest to me. So they've just released these new Pokemon cards, and they've like officially sold out in Japan. That's pretty nuts, isn't it? Do you water the poles directly on the nest or mist them? Never. Never, never, never. I missed this tank here, which hasn't got the nest. I pour loads of. I generally pour about 2 liters in every few days, and I mist almost daily as well. But I like to give them a lot of water, and it is quite warm in here, so it tends to evaporate really fast. As you can see, it dries out really fast. The other tank, I never mist. I never water it. I don't water the plants. I never do anything. I just leave. I don't even chuck food in it anymore. We pretty much don't do anything to that tank. Occasionally, I have to top up the pond if the pump decides to backfire, which is a real nightmare because all of the water drains out of the pond. Basically, the only thing keeping the water in the pond is the momentum of the water coming back down through the dam, getting sucked up back through the pump, and going around the pond. If it doesn't, it comes into the pump section and then disperses into the drainage layer, and the drainage layer of that tank quite big, so you do not see that water again. It's gone. So that pump needs to be running all the time, so I have to occasionally get it out, give it a quick blow through, and this is one of the reasons I've never done anything with wire. It needs to be accessible, so I can get it out, give it a quick blow through, or get the wheel spinning again, because it does take a lot of a beating. It's going to burn out one day. It does take a hell of a beating in there. It's got no filter section, so it's just a straight fan getting all the rubbish and stuff. So 1 second, get into it, Baz. So the pond section, I need to refill that probably once a week. It might do that. It depends how much debris in the pond, really. And as long as there's water in the pond and it's flowing, the humidity in the tank is roughly 90 to 99% across the whole tank. It is humid as heck in there, especially on the warmer days. It gets very humid in there. So I've never needed to water anything. They spend a lot of time around the water, and I have seen them drink straight from the pond, and then they take it back to the nest, and I assume do it like that. I've always done it like that. I've never had an issue. I used to, in fact, when there wasn't a pond in it, it was in the smaller tank. That's a better thing to tell you about, actually. I did used to spray it, but I didn't spray the nest. I would just try and spray the plants, and again, they would come and drink the moisture straight off the plants. So they do need water, don't get me wrong, but I tried to avoid spraying the nest if I could, because I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. They're one of those ones that it's going to take a lot of trial and error. But if you're struggling, the enclosures I'll be bringing out are pretty much like you can't lose. In fact, it's so much of a can't lose situation. I'm really confident about saying that. Right, it is nearly 10 o'clock and I am hungry again, believe it or not. But I do still have other bits I need to do, and I'd like to sit down for 5 minutes before I need to go to bed. So if you do have any further questions, comments, or want to know anything, please do put it in the chit chat fairly soon, because we are going to head towards the end of the stream in just a few minutes. Now, we do have some interviews coming up over the next, it's not the next one, there's a couple of interviews coming up very soon in the chat show lineup. It's going to be really cool. We've got a couple of pre-recorded interviews that I've had to do because they're from other countries, and just getting the time to match up doesn't quite work. So I've stayed up late in the night, and I've woken up early in the mornings, and I've done these interviews with international people. It's been really fun, but so they're like pre-recorded ones. We'll watch it together and talk about it. And then we do have some live interviews as well lined up. If you're interested in coming on the show, do just give me a message. If we got something to talk about, I'm sure we can talk about something. You know what I mean. I'm sure we can find something to talk about. It's always good fun. It's good fun just to have a general chat as well. We can have some general chats again on the shows. Why not? We used to do an open mic night, but we did stop that eventually, just because we never knew who was going to come on. But we will have lots of other people coming on to join me and share that good fun and evening. That's awesome. Yeah, Baz, definitely we'll have to sort that out when they are ready. I want to get them perfect before we release anything, like any information, any pictures, anything. They have to be right, because when they're out there, they are out there, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's a big one for us. It's a big one, especially something like the dive setup, like the Weaver setup. It's like, I know my stuff with dives. It sort of like flanks my reputation a little bit, doesn't it? I don't know. It feels like it to me. But anyways, let's round this up, shall we? It's been an absolutely spectacular night as always. I really enjoyed this one. Thank you all for coming in and watching. I'm going to say a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters, who are Sharon and Jason at the moment. Absolutely spectacular in the way that they've supported me. If you're interested in becoming Patreon supporter, do fly over there. There's a few different options, cheap ones or more expensive ones, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. I appreciate all the support. To be honest, I just appreciate you all for coming in and watching this and listening to me ramble on about random things. I can't even remember half of what I've said tonight because it's just completely random. But I hope you've enjoyed it anyways, and it's been not a complete waste of your time. Like I say, if there's anything you need to know, or if you need any help with your ants, please just send me a message anytime. You know where to find me, Facebook or whatever. Facebook's normally the fastest way, or on Discord is pretty fast as well. Or if you're struggling and you can't get hold of me, just head over to the website, go on that chat option, and it pings it straight to my phone, and it like really does make a cool noise. So don't feel afraid to do that as well. I want to be accessible for everyone. You know how I like to be. And please do join the Discord community as well. If you aren't part of the Discord community, it's full of absolutely amazing people already, and we'd like to have a few more amazing people. Everyone in the stream tonight has been absolutely fantastic, so head over there as well and join in. Massive thank you to the sponsors, of course, Answer Us and Valhalla Martial Arts. Absolutely fantastic for their support of me and the streams as well. Without them, we would have never been able to do things that we do, and again, advance in the way we have. There's one of the dairy cows. You very rarely get to see the dairy cows because there's so many ants. Thank you for putting that in, Dino. And I think I've just about covered everything. So I am going to go now, and I'm going to shovel loads of food in my face. So as always from me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans. Good night, and thank you for joining me.